or afternoon or evening, whatever it is that you're watching the program. This is the Will Marotti Show. This is yes, you are yes. Oh, what's going on? It's a different. Yeah, we finally moved to our new set. We're not done yet. Obviously, we've got some wall appointments to finish up with, but we're here. And the reason we've moved the set into a studio, is because we want to be able to have live guests. And so this setting now allows for two cameras, allows for we can spread out two microphones, two chairs, and will allow us to have some new guests and live guests, which are really what we need. Which is I've always wanted to do that, so I think it's great. So thank you for tuning in this morning, listening, if evening, whenever you're watching, listening. If you're on Spotify, thank you so much for listening. Please follow us. If you're on YouTube, thank you so much for watching. Please, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. Helps us tremendously. If you're on X, if you're on Facebook, thank you so much. If you're on Rumble, please follow us. And for everybody, like, share, comment. I'm going to give you a challenge today of something to do over the weekend. We'll see how it works out. God's nectar, otherwise known as coffee. So on my second cup today, I'm still keeping down on my coffee consumption. So got a guest for you this morning. Senate Minority Leader Stephen Harding going to be on talking about Eversource, and again this unbelievable rate increase that they're expecting to help offset the loss on EV mandates, EV cars, and to keep Millstone open. I think that's part of it as well. Let me see if I can see the comments from here. Let's go back, roll to the top there. All right. Good morning, Shelby. Good morning, Priscilla. Good morning, Elaine P. Good morning, Luke. Good morning, Izzy. Good morning, Jeff. Good morning, Cassie. Good morning, Melody and Dorothy. And Caitlin, good morning, Doreen. Good morning. Almost. I mean, I can just about make this. See, here's the problem. This is a much larger area, and so we've got the monitor, the same size monitor, but it's about 6 feet away now. And with my eyes being as they are, good morning, Dennis. Good morning, Barbara A. Doreen. Good morning, Eric. Good morning, Ice Rocket. Good morning. Priscilla says it looks great. Thank you, Priscilla. Cassie, good morning. Marianne L. Good morning. Diane K. Good morning. Let's see. Good morning. Michelle L. Good morning. Eric. Good morning. Who else we got here? Ice Rocket. Good morning. Jennifer. Good morning. Man, there's so many people out there, huh? Carol L. Good morning. Teresa G. Good morning. Lori. Good morning. Eggles. Good morning. And Patricia. Okay, excellent. Barry, good morning. Yeah, this is good. Tom, good morning. Appreciate you. So got a good show for you. We got, as I said, State Senate Minority Leader Stephen Harding coming on in just a few minutes to talk about this unbelievable socialistic Marxist. We're all going to pay more for our electric bill so your neighbor can drive a Tesla. That's what this is all about. I mean, this is what I perceive it to be. I could be wrong. I'll find out. Well, let me know. Lynn, good morning. Kevin, good morning. It's funny you see Elaine right there, AT. It's funny you say that, Elaine, because we've actually talked about a live audience, and we have room in this new set for some chairs. So I don't know. How many of you, give me a shout out in the chat room? How many of you would be interested in participating in a live audience? Kind of like make it I don't know. A show like Huckabee. He has a live audience on his show. I don't know. It could be fun. We've actually talked about it. It's one of the reasons we want to move to this more spacious location, because we could have, I don't know, half a dozen, 10 people in here for a live audience, which would be fun. We could have coffee, and you could make noise and people could hear. So anyway, if you think having a live audience would be fun, and would you participate? Would you come? You'd have to come to Wallingford? Would you participate? Would you come to a live audience if we had it? Just all I need is you to comment yes, thumbs up, whatever you want to do. Let us know about that. All right, let's take a moment and pray, and then we're going to jump into some stories, and then Stephen Harding in just a few minutes. Heavenly Father, God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, we thank you for another day of life. We thank you, God, for another day to enjoy the many, many blessings you are so kind to share with us, family, friends, your love, your grace, your mercy, your patience, your most of all forgiveness. And God, we're crying out for help because our nation is just a disaster right now. And we're beginning to, as all other civilizations before us, great empires before us, we're beginning to crumble from within. And we want to be here, God. We want to continue to be a light for other peoples and other nations. We want to be a source of help and relief. We want to be a lighthouse for the gospel, to be able to propagate the message of Christ, like the whole reason the pilgrims came. We want to be modern day pilgrims. And so, God, we're asking you to spare our country, help us, give us good leaders who want the country to be strong, who want the people of America to be taken care of before anyone else. So difficult. We hope, God, that you'll help us with this. We hope that you'll help advance the cause. And for that, God, we need a great awakening. And so as I pray every day, I pray for tens of thousands, hundreds, millions of people to turn toward you for wisdom, for your will, your way, guidance, most importantly for salvation that you offer, and help us as a country to turn to you. God, we need your help. Thank you. Thank you for all the brave men and women who serve in the military. Pray you bless them, protect them, keep them safe, comfort their families as they're separated. Thank you for our veterans who already served so faithfully. Bless and protect them today and their families. All of our first responders, firefighters, police, ICE, Border Patrol. We need some help with new leadership in the FBI, new leadership in the Secret Service, and probably many, many, many other places. That's why I'm not shy to say, if according to your will, I pray Donald Trump would win this next election, and he'd put people like Elon Musk in positions of authority to clear out. It's the deep state. We call it the deep. It's the deep state. But we have more faith in you and trust in you than we do in the political system. And so we pray. We thank you for this audience this morning. Bless them, comfort them, help them, God. And thank you for their participation, and we pray that you help us to grow and expand this audience, the footprint, and our influence, all for your honor and glory. We thank you and praise you in Jesus' name. Amen. Long prayer today. That was a long prayer, longer than usual, but that's okay. Jobs. Now, this is the preliminary, but I guess the real report's coming out this morning, if not out already, 9:00. ADP puts out their own preliminary information, and it was a horrible. They're saying it's a horrible job month for this report. They're saying 99,000 jobs by their estimates, under 100. ADP chief economic analyst Nella Richardson tells Yahoo Finance that the data shows a labor market that is undoubtedly cooling. The reason it's undoubtedly cooling is because the Harris-Biden economy is horrible. I've been telling you this for months, actually years, if we count all the time. And we'll see. We'll see when the jobs. Of course, they cook the books anyway. You can't trust them because they don't include layoffs. They already revised down for the year over 800,000 less jobs than they told us about. So layoffs jump in August, while hiring in 2024 is at a historic low. Another report. This is amazing. Total job cuts for this month, and this would have been August, 75,891. So if they bring in 100 jobs, but they lay off 75,000 jobs, 100. I mean, come on. It's just not working out. Again, we've talked about this for so long, and let me know. Oh, do we have is Stephen out there? All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm so happy to welcome back the Senate Minority Leader, Hartford Republican, Senator Stephen Harding. Stephen, good morning. Welcome back.
Good morning, Pastor. Always good to be on with you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for the short call response. We appreciate that, and Adam
My
as
pleasure.
well. Hey, I don't know if there must be something wrong with me, because my understanding is that, and I am an Eversource customer commercially, not personally because I live in Wallingford,
Right.
but commercially we are an Eversource customer. we're looking at a rate increase that's been approved by the useless, unnecessary, can't trust them Pura folks. We're looking at a rate increase primarily to offset loss for EV mandates and to
Yeah.
save the Millstone nuclear power plant. Am I understanding that correctly?
So yeah, so you are looking at rate increases across the board for a plethora of reasons. One of them is this public benefit charge, and it's being driven by a lot of different things. But the reason why folks are being able to understand it now is that we only recently in the legislature, after the work of Senator Fazio in the Energy Technology Committee, implemented a measure that would kind of break down your bill. So when you pay your electric bill every single month, you could actually see what you're paying for. And so for the first time in years, folks were able to look at that bill and go, wait a minute, what is this public benefit charge that skyrocketed recently? And that was the only reason we've been able to highlight
Really?
terrible policy, frankly, in Hartford, uh, by Pura, by basically all the state government agencies that have contributed to this for,
So
frankly, a
you're saying we
generation
had to
now.
catch them at it? We didn't
Yeah.
know we actually had to catch them doing this. That wasn't like something that was widely distributed public knowledge.
So it was just widely distributed amongst government and those that are involved in the utilities market understood it. But ultimately, you received, frankly, a bill, and that was a number, and most people, hardworking people of this state, paid it. Now, because of the bill that provided transparency, it broke down the bill, and right there on the front page of your bill broke down the cost, and it said public benefit charge, and then listed what it was. And some people were paying a public benefits charge of hundreds of dollars on a monthly basis. And what it is it's basically it's a hidden tax in which you, the ratepayers in the state of Connecticut, through Pura and Eversource, are subsidizing what should be on the state budget. It's a hidden tax that you're paying. You don't even realize it. What it does is it subsidizes programs, all these green initiatives, these initiatives which are passed by, frankly, mostly majority Democrats in Hartford, that force the ratepayers to pay for energy at 3 times what the market rate is because they have certain green initiatives and it obviously costs more than regular sources of energy. That's all baked into your public benefit charge.
Mm.
You supplementing that is baked into that cost. Then on top of that, this moratorium that Governor Lamont issued during COVID, which we all understood during COVID why it was done, but the governor extended it years beyond what any other regional state was extending their electric rate moratorium for. So he had a moratorium on shutoffs, but he continued it literally for years beyond what any other regional state had their moratorium for. So what happened is by law, Eversource and the utilities are able to go back to Pura and say, we lost X amount of dollars because of this moratorium. I think
Right.
it's estimated at about $200 million. And now that's also baked into your public benefit. So all of you who paid your bill
I'm paying
during
for it.
COVID is now paying for this moratorium that the Governor Lamont unilaterally extended for years. That's a huge aspect of your public benefit increasing as well. And then there's other government programs related to energy that are all baked into this public benefit. But essentially, what it's done for years, and folks are finally able to see it thanks to a bill that was passed last year in the legislature.
Mhm.
But basically, for years, you've been paying a hidden tax to subsidize our government once again here in the state of Connecticut, and it needs to end. This should go into a state budget in
Yeah.
full transparency. If these programs are worth funding, let's have a good discussion about it. Put it under the confines of our spending caps, and have it see the light of day, and have our constituents give input on whether or not this is worth investing in with state tax dollars.
So we're talking with State Senator and Minority Leader in Hartford, Stephen Harding. Senator, so you're saying on top of this, what we're already paying for this public benefit charge, now we're facing another increase?
Yeah. So now what was recently approved by Pura and again, this is allowed also by law and regulation that is set by Democrats in Hartford, is their cost to recoup the infrastructure rollout for this EV mandate. And this is only going to continue to happen because under law, they're currently allowed to continue to build this EV infrastructure and then continue to charge you for it. And so, what we're looking to do, the Republicans in the state Senate and also in the House for that matter, uh, is to go into special session. Because we do have a plan. We could use federal funds, ARPA funds, to pay down this public benefit to reduce your energy bills in the
Mhm,
immediacy,
mhm.
which is critically important, but also stop Eversource and Pura from continuously rising your rates by allowing them to build EV infrastructure and then charge you for it in your electric bills. I mean, I think any logical person would look at that and say, no, this is not something that the utility companies should go back to Pure and be able to bake into your energy cost, which is what they're continuously doing. And they just did it at the last Pure commissioner meeting. So this is only going to continue. This problem is only going to get worse. There's currently a bid out that we believe the state government and the governor's office is finalizing
Mhm.
that will procure a certain amount of wind energy that is almost 4 times what the market rate is for regular energy resources. Guess who's all paying for that? All of us. And so not only do we need to go into special session and be able to provide federal funding and other potential areas to provide immediate relief to the people of the state on their electric bills, but also we need to stop the bleeding. If we don't act and we don't act fast,
Mm,
for the reasons you
yeah.
just mentioned, Pastor, well, this is only going to get worse. These bills are only going to skyrocket.
I read yesterday, I heard yesterday that Governor Lamont is somewhat chilled to the idea of a special session. Why would he not? Why would we not take this into account? I mean, this is a huge problem for taxpayers. It's not fair. I think it almost falls in the line of equity. We're going to be paying more money so that your neighbor can drive their Tesla, and then your neighbor can go down the road and charge their
Yes.
Tesla at a supercharging station. We're paying for all of that. Didn't Eversource less than a year ago come out and say, I think it was in the wintertime, of last year, maybe earlier this year, didn't Eversource already come out and say that our grid can't handle the increased demand for power that everybody's talking about?
Yes, and I think that they're using that as an excuse as to why they're continuing to roll out this increased infrastructure.
Yeah.
And the Democrats in Hartford continue to push an EV mandate, despite the fact that every utility company, I mean, even Elon Musk,
Yeah.
who
Yeah.
runs an electric car company, has said you
Mhm.
can't do this. This is impossible. And so you have logical people that are coming out and saying you can't do this. And despite that, Democrats in Hartford continue to push this mandate, and therefore the utility companies, I think, just continue to build up this infrastructure, which is being charged at the backs of the middle class people of the state in their electric bills. But I'm frustrated by the fact that the governor doesn't want to go into special session. And interestingly enough, Pastor Will, every single Republican senator and every single Republican representative has signed this petition to go into special session. Not one Democrat as of today, not one Democrat as of today has signed that petition. And all we're saying in that petition is let's go into Hartford, let's talk about this, and let's figure out some solutions right here and now to one, provide immediate relief, and to stop the bleeding. And really, oddly enough, the only Democrats' answer to this is trying to play a blame game, which we believe. Look, they've been in power since I've been in high school, so I have a hard time believing anyone is to blame other than them. But nevertheless, I don't care who's to blame.
Yeah.
What the
Yeah.
Republicans are saying is let's go into Hartford and let's fix this and let's fix this now. And they continue to point to the fact that we should maybe do something after the election. And so that says to me that all they care about is the politics of this.
Right.
What we care
Right.
about is being able to provide relief to the ratepayers. The people, I mean, I'm sure you hear it, Pastor Will, everywhere you go, whether it's at your church, the supermarket, everywhere I go, I can tell you, I can't go a few feet without someone stopping me and saying, "Please do something to help. I can't afford to pay this electric bills." I had a
It's
friend.
it's
I had a friend
I
of
mean,
mine he
it's
put his house on the
groceries,
market after
it's
this.
it's 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 all the kitchen table items. It's groceries, it's rent, it's mortgage, it's electric bills, it's gasoline, all the things that people burn up their income for to take care of. Everybody's struggling. The American family, on average, $11,000 more a year to manage just to get through than they were 3.5 years ago. That's why this election coming up is so important. And I'm so grateful for you guys, Senator, because we've
Thank you,
got we've
Pastor.
got some Republicans. We don't have a lot, but we have some Republicans that get it, that are common sense people, and that are standing up and at least trying to push back this nonsense. And I applaud you guys for it. I just wish we had more. And it's part and parcel the problem of having one party rule, which was what we have in Connecticut.
Yeah, absolutely. Pastor Rods, it's an honor for you to say that. And I thank you for what you do on your show and bringing to light all these important issues and championing what is, frankly, in my opinion, and many people's opinion, just simply common sense.
Yeah.
But when you talk about affordability, obviously we have an economy right now across the country that has made things unaffordable. But Connecticut is particularly unique, unfortunately, in being particularly unaffordable compared to even everywhere else in the country. And these electric rates, as we're talking about right now, do you know we have the second highest electric rates in the continental U.S., the
Yeah.
second
Yeah.
highest in the country. And second, or we're third overall because Hawaii is on an island, obviously.
Right.
But
Right.
so it's Hawaii, California, and then us. And then we're almost the highest burdened tax state in the country as well. And so you understand as much as it hurts you when you
We
see it
are.
when your friends and your neighbors are leaving this state. It's a simple message. As you come into November, there is one party that is continuously standing up and trying to do what is right to
Right.
make the state more affordable when it comes down to electric rates, when it comes down to taxes, and it's the Republican Party in our state. If you want to continue to have one party rule and you want to continue to drive up your energy costs, drive up your taxes, drive up the bureaucracy of our state government, then you can vote for the Democrats. But
Well,
frankly, if you want to change, you need to vote Republican.
we're always on, and I've been my whole life has been Connecticut for the most. I mean, I've lived in a brief time other places, but my whole entire life, born, raised here, product of Connecticut. But every matrix you look at, we're on the wrong end of every measure. We're the highest, worst state in the country for renters when it comes to price, availability,
Yep.
location. We're second highest, again, continental U.S. on electricity. It's the fourth or fifth worst state to retire in the whole country. If you look at just yesterday, I shared a report. This was done by a financial non for profit. They took the top 50 cities in America. You know what? They said the four highest cost of living cities in America. Number 4 was New Haven, Connecticut. Number 1 was Hartford, Connecticut. We're on the wrong end of every measurement. I don't know what it's going to take to wake folks up. And then they came back with every year there's a moving report and says that we've got more outbound moves than inbound moves. And last year was different. And Lamont was doing the victory dance, and they go, "Oh, we were wrong. They had to take the figure and
Yeah, it
revise
turns
it
out
down."
the population was incorrect. Yeah,
You know,
similar to what the jobs report was nationally, was that it was the numbers were revised, and we realized we're still actually unfortunately losing people, and it's to your point. We talk about common sense. We see it. I cannot tell you how many, particularly my friends' parents who have hit retirement age.
sure.
They're on fixed incomes. Um, they're all leaving this state, and they don't want to. They love it here. They have family here. Their grandkids, for many of them, are here. They want to see them grow up. But they say to me, "We're retired. We're on a fixed income, and in this state, we can't afford to live here. Whether it be taxes, property taxes, income taxes." Um, I mentioned your electric bills. Everything here has become more and more unaffordable, and unfortunately, with one party rule for a generation here in this state, we've seen the Democratic Party continue to drive up cost on everything, whether it be through regulation of businesses, which actually obviously drive up cost, whether it be these energy policies, which are politically driven, which continue to drive up costs and unaffordability on your electric rates. And they don't want to do anything about it, by the way, as we just talked about, and in the here and the now. And then also, taxes. Every single year, it's always about what more new money we can spend. It's never about what efficiencies we can find and ways we can actually reduce taxes in our state. And unless we get more Republicans elected, as you mentioned, Pastor Will, this is going to continue. That's why these state legislative races for Senate and for
So
house are
important.
so
So
important
important.
wherever you live across this
Yeah.
state.
I don't know. I mean, I know our rainy day fund is overflowing, but we wouldn't think of using that to save taxpayer money. But listen, we just need more young guys like you, Stephen,
Yeah.
to run for
Thank you.
office. We got to get the Republican Party in Connecticut in gear, and it's been stalled for way too long. And I don't know what we can do. We can do something about that. Listen, thanks again for coming on. I was a
Always a
short
pleasure.
call, but I wanted to talk about this issue, particularly when I heard Lamont was not excited about a special session, which he shouldn't be afraid of. But anyway, thanks again. Have a great weekend, and we
Pastor, thank you.
appreciate you.
And really quick plug, if I may, specialsessionct.com. If you want to urge your legislators to do the right thing to go into special session for these electric rates, go there and they'll tell you how to contact your legislators.
Specialsessionct.com.
.com. Yep.
Okay. All
Thanks,
right,
Pastor
Senator.
Will.
Thank you so much. Talk to you
Be
soon.
well.
Appreciate you.
Yep. Bye
Thank
bye.
you. All right, Stephen Harding, everybody, one of the good guys. One of the good guys. I really enjoy him a lot. Appreciate him very much. All right, we're going to take a 3-minute break here in our new studio, the spacious studio. Again, I'm interested if you want to, if you would you be interested in live audience participation in the spacious studio? If you would be, then comment there in the box there in the chat room, and you can either say live audience or thumbs up, live audience, whatever. Just let us know and then we'll be back. So we're gonna take a 3-minute break. Don't go away. We'll be back, and then I have a challenge for you. A challenge, several challenges for you this coming weekend. Don't go away. We'll be right back. 3 minutes. Wish I could get wireless earbuds. All right, welcome back. Welcome back. Time for our break here. So, as you can see, we're in new location. Excuse me, new studio. Um, much more spacious. You can't see it, but it's much larger. We're going to do some different things with the wall just to make it a little bit more attractive. We have room, and one of the primary reasons we came down here was into this new studio is because we can now bring live guests in. So I'll tell you right now, I'll give you a spoiler alert. Well, I'll give you a spoiler alert at the end of this show. I will tell you who our first live guest will be next week. Uh, the other thing we've talked about, AT and I have considered, is a live audience. We could fit probably easily eight people in here, right? We could do that, and we might do like a raffle, a lottery system to give away free tickets. If you'd want to come, I mean, if you want to come, you'd have to be here, before 9, and you leave right at 10 if you want. Um, but I'd like to see what you think about it. So we're not gonna do it if you're not interested. The only reason we would do it is for you guys. So let us know if you'd be interested in coming for a live audience. Mention that in the comment. American flag on the wall. Yeah, we should have an American flag up here, shouldn't we? Yeah. Picture of AT. Picture of. Speaking of LJ, our crack researcher just sent the new August payroll report, and again, it's different than what ADP talked about, which is normally was what happens. They do a great job, but the fact of the matter is, they're usually off. And again, who's off? I don't know. This August says it grew 142,000, but when you take out the 75,000 layoffs, which this report doesn't show, that's a big drop. That's a big drop in jobs. Unemployment ticked down to 4.2 from 4.3. So again, the expectation was 161,000, so it's off by quite a bit to 142. And you can watch. Looking at the graph, starts from 2022, moving down to right now. It's definitely on the downward slope. There's no question about it. Anyone can see it. And again, layoffs are at an all-time high. So, it's not as bad. I mean, unemployment rate was actually lower uh, earlier this year than it is now. So that the unemployment rate keeps going up, and there's a lot of things that are happening that are concerning. Here's one thing that's concerning, I've talked about this before, and I know many of you disagree. Well, some of you have disagreed with me, but I just feel like this is certainly a slippery slope. The father of the suspect, the Appalachia High School shooter, killed 4, wounded 9, 14-year-old. Again, how does a 14? There's only two explanations how a 14-year-old could get this in their mind and their spirit to go and kill people. It's either mental illness or it's demonic oppression. There is no other explanation. And I do believe there's evil in the world. I do believe Satan's real. I do believe we're in a spiritual warfare all around us. We tend to doubt it. I always joke about the fact that, that show years ago, Touched by an Angel, Roma Downey, would never have been as popular if we called it Touched by a Demon. But the fact of the matter is, demons are just as real as angels, and they are on the earth, and they are doing Satan's bidding. And you don't see it, but there's a spiritual warfare going on around us all the time. And so this 14-year-old goes in, kills the 4 people, and wounds 8, 9. Now his father, who's 54 years old, was arrested, and this is not a good pattern. The father was charged with 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter, 2 counts of second-degree murder, 8 counts of cruelty to children. Now, this on the heels, remember the other case that happened when Jennifer and James Crumbly were convicted 14 years for their son, who also was involved in a shooting. Listen, we have a long I think, justified history, and it starts with the Bible. We don't punish the parents for the sins of the children, nor do we punish the sins of the parents, the sins of the parents on the children. Right? We don't do that. We just never have. The Crumbly case was number one. And this is number two. And this is what they're saying. This is a study by the Marshall Project. Now, let me just tell you about the Marshall Project, named after Supreme Court Justice Thurgood Marshall. It tends to slant left, okay, but there's some really good reporting, and they do a lot of incredibly good studies. And they're saying that this is not a good pattern where we're holding parents responsible, because our country was founded on this premise, individual responsibility. That's why everything that Kamala Harris talks about is so wrong. It's, in my mind, evil. That's why now you see company, and I've got another story about this. You see company on top of company getting away from DEI, getting away from the diversity index from the Human Rights Campaign. And here's why: because diversity is fine, no problem with diversity, inclusion fine, but equity is evil. Just, it's all you, equity, evil, equity is evil. This is where you take people in a free society, in a market economy, and people who work hard. Listen, there's just some people that aren't going to rise to Allah. I'm never going to be, a Warren Buffett. I don't have the understanding. I don't have the financial skill. I am who I am, and I'm happy who I am. But I'm never going to reach certain things that maybe I'd like to do. But that's just the way it is. And you cannot just say, okay, well, you got a better start in life than this person, or you're smarter than this person, so we're gonna put our thumb on the scale. The government, this is the government talk. We're gonna put our thumb on the scale, and we're going to make sure, even though not everyone started in the same place, everybody's going to end in the same place. This is the EV mandate. We're going to pay more electric charges ourselves for those of us who don't drive electric cars, so that we can fund your neighbor who wants to drive a Tesla. Hey, God bless America. I don't care what you drive. You can drive a Clampett mobile for all I care, but don't charge me for it. Don't look to me to pay so you can have a Tesla. I mean, it's the whole college payback scam. By the way, there's a story on that. I'll get to it. Do I have time? Yeah, I'll get to this payback scam for college that's now being head by, I'm embarrassed to say, Meriden own Miguel Cardona. And I like Miguel. Miguel was our son's principal for many years, and I had the utmost. I have a great level of admiration and a great personal affinity for Miguel, but I'm not happy with the policies, and I don't think he actually believes what he's doing. I think he got, hey, who wouldn't want to be the Secretary of Education at the federal level? I mean, it's a huge honor, gigantic. I was so proud of him when I heard of it. But you know what? You get into the swamp guy. You're not powerful enough. Most people, only Donald Trump, and Elon Musk, powerful enough to withstand the gravitational pull of the swamp. And so within weeks of becoming the Secretary of Education, Miguel started getting sucked down into the swamp. And so now he's putting out orders for Biden for this payoff loan thing with our money. Listen, there's no reason that you should be held responsible to pay off a student loan that the person willingly took, had eyes wide open, willingly took the money to go pay to overpriced colleges and professors who don't belong. None of these people should get the kind of salaries they're receiving. Certainly not university presidents making $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 a year. Not one of them is worth that kind of money. And then you shouldn't have to pay for it because somebody else made a decision. It's personal responsibility. That's one of the main tenets our country has been built on: personal responsibility, good, bad, or indifferent. If you commit a law, you break a law, guess what? You have to be held responsible. If you do something great, you're responsible. You did it. Thank you. Praise God. God bless America. This is a horrible trend. And what they're saying at the Marshall Project, the reason they think this is a horrible trend is because if it's carried out to its full extent, if this becomes common practice in America, where we're going to try the parents for the crimes of a minor. You go to Chicago, I guarantee most of the murders that, first of all, most of the murders are black on black. No question about it. Most of the murders in Chicago are done by minors. And so now what are you going to start doing? You're going to start locking up all these parents because the 17-and-a-half-year-old went out and gang banging with somebody and goes out and shoots and kills them. You're going to put their parents in jail for this? And you feel good about that? I don't. I don't. Maybe they could have been better parents, fine, but they don't deserve to be punished for something in their child. Because the kid, listen, everybody has an intrinsic sense. That means it's already built in for those of you in South Meriden. Everybody has an intrinsic sense of right and wrong. We're born with that. You reach a certain age, it's different for everybody, 4, 5, 6, 7. You know right from wrong. And you know it's not right to hurt another individual. You know it's not right to murder an individual. I don't care how old you are. That's why, in some sense, this 14-year-old is going to be charged as an adult. When I first heard it, I said, man, I don't know, because again, it's either mental illness or it's demonic oppression. I don't know what else it could be. And is that the best way to treat him? Well, you know what? I think the best way to treat him is to lock him up forever. But to treat him as an adult, put him in an adult prison where he's going to be violated horribly, and I mean, no, I don't agree with that at all. I don't agree with that, but I understand it. You're going to act like an adult, you're going to get treated like an adult. You want to do an adult crime, you're going to do adult time. I understand that. I'm not fighting that at all. But it just it's horrible. It's tragic. So they're saying what will happen if you carry this out to its full extent, where all parents are going to be held responsible for the crimes of their children, it will be disproportionate. Just like prison. Why do prisons have 50% people of color when only 13% of the population is black? Because the majority of crimes are committed by people of color, at least half. And now those are unarguable, inarguable facts. Those are absolute, irrefutable facts. The same thing will happen here. You'll have a lot more black parents being arrested and charged than you're going to have white parents because there are more black kids committing more crimes. That's just the facts, and I don't agree with that. I do not believe parents should be held responsible for the crime of their children. And how many out there agree? Donna T says she agrees. How many out there agree with that? Over who's out? Give me some. Scroll down a little bit, or scroll up a little bit for me. At just stop. Oh, that's Luke. Okay, Luke, you agree. Okay, good. Thank you. Um, we don't know. We don't know who purchased the gun. Was it given to? We don't know. But even if it was, let's say the father purchased the gun for the kid. The kid's going to go hunting. I mean, it is Georgia, for crying out loud, right? I mean, they do a little bit of hunting down there. Even if that's the case, you don't put the father in jail. Now, the father apparently maybe is a crumb anyway and deserves to be in jail. I don't know, but I'm saying the basic principle where we're punishing the parents for the sins of the children is not part of this country's makeup. We don't do that because we're a country that has been built on personal responsibility. And you can't have that. I mean, it's not it's not good at all. And so, oh gosh, let me just go back to this for a minute here. I've got so many stories to talk about. Yeah, here's the student debt problem. Here it is, right here. This hot off the press. This is from Reason, which I go to regularly. It's a libertarian think tank, libertarian site. But I don't agree with everything because I'm not a libertarian. But I agree with a lot of what they say, and I agree with this. The new lawsuit's been filed. This just yesterday, 2 days ago. No, just yesterday. A lawsuit filed by a coalition of Republican-led states that has alleged the Biden administration is illegally directing student loan servicers to begin canceling student debt. The suit filed on Tuesday claimed that Secretary of Education Miguel Cardona is attempting to enforce new changes to the federal law, federal student loan program that have yet been finalized. This is the third time the secretary has unlawfully passed mass cancellations of hundreds of billions of dollars in debt. Court stopped him the first two times when he tried to do it openly. Now he's doing it more cloak and dagger. Biden spent much of his presidency pushing a mass student loan forgiveness program. It's not fair. It's not fair at all that you should have to pay for somebody else's student loan. Take it from somebody who's still paying off student loans, not mine. However, these setbacks haven't seemed to deter the education department. First department I would cancel. If I was president, God help the country. If I was president, the first thing I would do is I would close down. I would shut down the Department of Education, and I would let that be entirely handled at the state level. First thing I would do, the Department of Education. According to the committee responsible for federal budget change, these changes have estimated already cost nearly $150 billion. And it'll be far more if it goes through. The lawsuit claims that Cardona has already instructed these guys, loan servicers, to imminently forgive student loans under the new rules. Problem is, the rules have yet to be finalized. Federal law requires these changes not be implemented for at least 60 days. The states suing the government, Miguel Cardona, Missouri, Georgia, Alabama, Florida, North Dakota, Arkansas, and Ohio, obtained documents proving that the Secretary is implementing plan without publication, has been planning to do so since May. I mean, listen, I don't know. Why should we be surprised, right? Why should we be surprised? Let me share some good news for you as I fumble for my computer here. And here we go. Okay. A lot of people. I am concerned. I'm concerned. I mentioned to somebody this morning. I am concerned right now about the election because, for some reason, and this is why I think Tuesday could be Kamala Harris's water. Do you like this view? People who are watching, do you like this new look? I mean, we're not done yet. We're gonna put some, maybe a little American flag over here and adjust it. But do you like this new look? How many of you tell me if you're in the chat room? How many of you in the chat room? We got people out there, right? Oh, it's a lot of people. Do you like the new look? Yes or no? Do you like the new look? Give me a thumbs up. Give me a yes, whatever. But differentiate if you're an audience. If you want to be in the audience, say audience yes or audience thumbs up, because we might do it. We might do it, but we'll do it on a lottery. We'll ask you to submit your name, and we'll pick a lottery, and we'll pick maybe first time out 6. We're going to have our first live guest next week. Oh, no, I shouldn't say that. First in studio guest next week. Oh, they're all live. They're all live. But we're going to. All right. So yes. You like the look? Yes. Priscilla says yes. Doreen says yes. Tracy says yes. Tracy says it's too plain. Well, aren't you just Martha Stewart? I love you, Tracy. Yeah, we're gonna do, and we can do we'll do a wider shot when we have, there's another chair over here. We'll do a wider shot when we have 2 guests, but it'll be 2 shots, so you'll be able to see both people. We're trying our best, folks. We're trying to do this as professionally as we can, because we value what you think. We want you to like it. Here's the first challenge. Before I go into this next story, here's the first challenge. This weekend, if every one of you will do this, this will make a gigantous difference for the Will Marotti Show. If each one of you will invite, call, lead, shepherd, mentor one of your friends, relatives, associates, or neighbors to tune in to the Will Marotti Show, either live, join you live watching it, or invite them over your house if you're at home watching it, or an office person. Again, if one of you will get one person in the month of September, do you remember? No, that's Earth, Wind, and Fire. Okay. In the month of September, if one of you will enlist one person to become a regular listener, viewer of the show, we will double the audience. Wouldn't that be cool? Wouldn't that be cool? I mean, yeah, double, but we'll increase tremendously. And so that's the first challenge. The first challenge is we want you to enlist a person to watch or listen whenever you do. Some of you do it later in the day. I've got more people who listen later, watch later day than live. That's fine. Whenever you do it. Yeah. Tracy, yes, it is plain. So before we're running out of time here, this is amazing. We had a guest scheduled for the second half hour, but they became ill last night. Texted me, couldn't make it. They're going to come on next Friday. And our first live guest is. I'm going to tell you now. It's going to be next week, but I want you to be excited about it and use this. Maybe this is a chance for you to bring that new viewer, that new listener onto the program. All right, so here's the deal: a new Emerson poll taken, and also a TIPP, which I give more credit to. Kamala nationally has a slight lead, 49-47 over the Trumpster. I say all that changes with the debate on Tuesday. I say that this debate will completely tear off the cover of this phony, of this empty pantsuit candidate, Kamala Harris. You'll see how much stronger Donald Trump is on issues. Now, if you're one of these snowflake people who don't care about issues and you only care about, they're nice, uh, 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 then you're going to vote for Kamala Harris and damn the country. You listen to me. Voting for Kamala Harris is damning the country because we'll never recover. The damage will be irreparable if we put Kamala Harris in office for 4 years, another Biden Harris reversal for 4 years, irreparable damage. So there's a slight difference, but again, Republicans don't win popular elections. That's not what we do. We don't win those elections. We haven't won it since 2004. Republicans win presidential elections by the Electoral College. This, I'm looking at Real Clear Politics. If the election were held today, the Harris Walsh would get 208 electoral votes. Trump Vance would get 219. But you look at the states that are the toss-up states, or the states that have not yet been approved. And those states would be Nevada, Arizona, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, New Hampshire, Virginia, North Carolina, and Georgia. Now, in those states, let's start with Arizona. Trump is up a percentage point. In Georgia, Harris is up 1/10 of a point. In Michigan, probably going to go that way. Harris is up 1.1%. In Nevada, Harris is up 0.6%. In North Carolina, Trump is up 0.7%. In Pennsylvania, they're tied. Now, I don't understand that because Pennsylvania needs Trump. Wisconsin, forget it. It's going to go to Harris. She's 1.4 ahead. So if the election were held today without those states counted, Harris Walsh would get 208. Trump Vance would get 219. Trump is up slightly in Georgia. If Trump wins Georgia and Trump wins North Carolina, which he's up in those right now, and then they're tied and he wins Pennsylvania, that's 270. Georgia, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, based on what is right now what we consider to be firmly in place or leaning, whether or likely, not the leaning, firmly in place, based on Real Clear Politics. It's an aggregate site. They're very non-biased. Trump wins at 270. Georgia, North Carolina, Pennsylvania. And those are the states. And that's where the debate is being held in Pennsylvania, right? So I think the turning point of this election is Tuesday night, barring anything else. We didn't get to talk about today by Hunter Biden storming into the courtroom, not allowing even the prosecution to know what he was going to do, pleading guilty to all 9 counts. We're going to have David X. Sullivan on Monday, and he'll talk about that case. David was a federal prosecutor for 30 years, United States assistant attorney. And so we'll talk about that with David. And then, of course, Tuesday we're going to have George Colley. We're going to have Chris Powell. Wednesday is Reese Day. Thursday we'll have our first ever in studio guest, former Governor John G. Rowland will be with us on Thursday. That might be the day for you to invite your friend, relatives, associate, neighbor to watch the program. And so don't believe the polls. Remember the polls back in 2016? Every poll in the country said Hillary was going to win. Every poll. They were questioning if Trump would even win a state. And you know what happened. We are not over. There's 60 days left to this election. We're going to fight, according to the Trumpster. And we're going to keep doing this program. We're going to keep putting out content. We're going to keep sharing truth with you, which is very important. Listen, have a great weekend. Couple things. Tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock, Saturday, New Life Church, cars and coffee. Bring your favorite ride. We'll have coffee. We'll have donuts. 4 o'clock Saturday afternoon, tomorrow. We're going to have church at New Life Church. We'd love for you to be there. I'm going to be teaching a great message about don't count yourself out. God may have something great still for you to do. No matter how old you are, no matter what mistakes you've made, don't count yourself out. God might have something great for you to do. Tomorrow night, Saturday night, 6 o'clock, open mic. It's kind of a talent display night. Anybody can come. And then Sunday at 9, 10:45, services at New Life Church. For more information, go to newlifechurchct.com. That's newlifechurchct.com. Hey, great week. AT, thank you. LJ, thank you. DA, thank you. GG, thank you. And thank you. Thank you for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day. God bless you. I love you. We'll see you Monday at 9 o'clock.